Hey there, friends. I have a story for you, and it's called Up, Up, Up. It's apple picking time. And I wanted to read this story today because it's the season fall. And in the fall is when apples are ripe and ready to pick. Maybe you and your family have gone to an apple orchard together. This story, the author is Jody Fickles Shapiro, and the illustrator is Kitty Harville. Does anyone remember what an illustrator does? An illustrator is the person who makes the pictures, and the author is the person who writes the words. It looks like this illustrator used some collage, which is cutting out pieces of paper and gluing them together to make pictures. That's pretty cool. Up, 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 it's apple picking time. Up, 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 it's apple picking time. Mama's voice tickles my ear and whispers me awake. On with my shirt, sweater, pants, warm socks, and shoes not tied. Outside, it feels like we're the only ones awake in the whole world. Dad says it's a long drive ahead. Amber uses my shoulder for her pillow, but I don't mind. She's keeping me warm while we're driving to the apple ranch. 2 picnics later, one for breakfast, one for lunch, we're finally off the highway and onto the twisting, bumpy, narrow bridge. Only one car, apple-lined road. Have you ever been to an apple orchard? What are some other things that you can do in the fall? Sometimes I know families go to the pumpkin patch. There they are. Who do you think these people are that they're going to visit? Do you have a guess? Granny and Grandpa standing at the gate, calling, "Hooray! We're so glad you're finally here. We could hardly wait." "Neither could we say. And then everyone is off to the orchard. It's apple picking time. Apple smell is in the air, apple perfume everywhere. There are so many trees, it looks like 1,000,000 apples. Red, green, yellow, and pink. I don't know where to start, I tell Grandpa. What is your favorite kind of apple? Mrs. Giffen really likes Honeycrisp and Granny Smith apples. There are so many different kinds. Grandpa pulls a yellow apple off a tree. He puts it up to his nose and breathes in like Mama does with a flower. Ah, it's the perfect apple aroma, says Grandpa, and we lean in close to smell it too. From his pocket, he takes out his red-handled knife and cuts a slice out of the apple. Have a taste, he says. The apple is cool and crunchy and sweet. Everyone has a slice, and we all stand together in the afternoon sunshine, wishing we could have more. What do you think they're going to do next? But it's apple picking time. Begin with this golden delicious, says Miles. Grandpa tells me. He points to the tree where we're standing and hands me a small sack made from cloth. I give the littlest tug and the yellow fruit almost falls into my hand. It's as big as my softball. The sack gets heavy fast. Every time it's full, I empty it into a wooden box. We climb up ladders and disappear into trees. I can see Dad's legs. His voice is coming from the middle of a tree filled with red apples. He's singing a made-up song about loving apple dumplings and eating apple pie. The tree next to him has Mama's laugh. That's the only way I can tell she's in it. What is your favorite thing to make or do with apples? Mrs. Giffen likes to put peanut butter on her apples. I also like apple pie and apple crisp. Do you have a favorite apple product? Maybe applesauce, apple pie, or maybe you just like to eat them right from the core. Amber and Granny are picking up fruit from the ground. Granny says these apples make the best cider. The mention of cider makes me want some. It's warm work picking apples. I say that it already smells as if cider is hiding somewhere in the orchard. That's apple orchard perfume you're smelling, Miles, says Granny. Then she surprises us with cups of cool apple juice. All afternoon, we fill those apple sacks with delicious, both red and golden, Macintosh, Pippin, Winter Banana, a funny name for an apple if you ask me, and the last few Gravensteins. The wagon cart is loaded with boxes filled to the brim. What do you think they're going to do with all of these apples they've picked? Good question. Let's find out. Daylight runs out fast in the canyon, even in the summer. Granny's Pippin pie makes a fine end to an apple picking day. Early to bed, have to be well rested for an apple selling day. So what are they going to do with all of these apples? It looks like they're going to use some of them to make pie, but it's an apple selling day tomorrow. Up, 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 it's apple selling time. Grandpa's whiskers scratch my cheek and the smell of breakfast cooking pulls me out of bed. It's Grandpa's morning oatmeal with sweet applesauce. Then we're out to the fruit stand through the dew-wet grass. Grandpa turns over the carved wooden sign. Cars pull in. Granny, wearing a big straw hat trimmed all around with shiny apples, greets old friends. These are the grandkids come to help. She almost sings the words. Apples are tasted, apples admired and bought. How do you think Granny feels that her grandkids are at the apple farm to help? How do you know how she feels? It looks like they're all smiling and happy. And it said, these are the grandkids come to help. She almost sings the words. I think that sounds like something that you would do when you're happy or excited about things. We carry bags and boxes of apples to cars for the people who come and go all morning. Lunch is a picnic and the sunshine, but we can hardly sit still enough to eat. It's apple selling time. And then before you can say Macintosh, Granny Smith, Golden Delicious, Pippin Pie, the sun has flown away, taking the warmth with it. The sign is turned to closed, and it's time to call it a day. Supper is fresh baked apple dumplings, floating like islands in a sea of milk. Then there's talking about that apple selling day. Grandpa puts old jazz records on his phonograph and dances around with Amber. Even Mama and Dad dance, but I like lying on the rug in front of the fireplace just watching everyone being happy, wishing we didn't have to go home tomorrow. It's hard to say goodbye. Hello hugs are so much nicer. Sackfuls of apples surround Amber and me. We're driving home. Their cidery smell helps me remember the happy days of apple picking, apple selling time. The end. So this is obviously something that these kids really like doing with their family, their grandparents and their mom and dad. Is there something that you really like doing with your grandparents or your people in your family? All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed our story about apple picking time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.